all the unique characters.
I do let him bang. Yeah, I'm a legend, man. I'm building my legs.
All the stories and perspectives featured weekly.
I wasn't fully committed to that choke, and I kind of sunk into it, started squeezing tighter, and I kind of heard him gurgle a little bit. I was like, oh.
And all the combat sports you could ask for in the best state in the U.S.
Like I said, Ohio versus the world. It's going to happen for sure. Watch out.
It'll be cool, man. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to show them why the Ohio MMA scene is, in my opinion, one of the best MMA scenes in the country.
This is Forged in OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 109 of Forged in Ohio. My name is Jake Murren, and I'm the host of the podcast. And it's been an exciting few weeks here for the show as we released the first episode of 2025 last week with Andrew the Gavel Law. And of course, the week before that, I announced the official Forged in Ohio merchandise that is now available. You can find that link to the store on Instagram, Facebook, and now X as well. But without further ado, let's keep this streak going on Forged in Ohio by welcoming one of the rising stars in Ohio MMA. This flyweight prospect is 5-3 in his amateur career and is coming off a decision win at Cage Thunder 29. What's most impressive, though, is that he's one of the youngest fighters to ever join the show at only 20 years old. Let's bring in Connor Showtime Smith. Thanks for coming on the show, Connor, and welcome to Forged in Ohio.
What's up, man? I'm happy to be here. Like I said, I've been waiting on the call, man. I knew it was coming, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I was waiting a little bit to pull the trigger on that call, but thankfully we do have you on Forged in Ohio now. And let's start with Cage Thunder 29, where you picked up amateur win number 5, your first win by decision, about 5 to 6 weeks removed from the fight. How do you feel about the performance?
There's a lot to unpack with that fight. It obviously wasn't my most entertaining fight, I know. I didn't get to keep my finish streak going, but when you're fighting a guy like Nick, who's been fighting for so long, like, I think you were the one that even said it during the fight. He had his debut when I was 9 years old, dude. I was in grade, I was still learning how to write in cursive, dude. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, when you got somebody that's been fighting for that long, you got to be more technical. You got to be more strategic with it, because there's not a lot that Nick hasn't seen. If I give him an opening, he's going to take it. He's going to find it. So I played it real strategic, played it smart, and was able to get the win with it. And I had a great time. I mean, it being a split decision, I personally didn't think it was. No disrespect to Nick at all. I thought I won all 3, but I mean, it is what it is. I still got the win, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I was going to ask about it being a split decision because going to the scorecards, I obviously was on commentary that night. I thought you had done enough to get the win. What was going through your mind? I'm sure you were confident that you got the win, but then you never know when Jake Digman reads out that it was a split decision. I'm sure a lot of things are spiraling through your mind at that point.
Yeah, at the end of the third round, I landed some ground and pound at the end, and I get up and I put my arms in the air and I look at my coach Johnny. I said 30-27 is what I said, because that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking I dominated the rounds, and I've watched it back, and I still don't see it being a split. I can see giving him a round, maybe like round 1, he landed good knees in round 1, but even in round 2, I still had control over him like I did in the other rounds. He gets that takedown at the end of round 2, but I turned it right into mount and landed ground and pound off of that. Third round, I got the takedown, ground and pound, submission attempts. I was winning on the feet. I mean, I don't know. I guess I can see giving him a round, but 2 rounds, I don't see it. I really don't see giving him 2 rounds, but I don't know. I'm not the judge. It's not my job, so.
I'd say the majority of the fight took place, obviously, in the clinch along the cage. Was that part of the strategy going in? Or did you feel like you had the advantage in that realm?
I don't know. I told myself I wanted to strike a little more. I think I even said that to Alex in the post or the pre-fight interview stuff, which I did. I mean, I landed some good shots in the strike at range and stuff, but once we got into the clinch and I got him up against the cage, and I felt comfortable and I felt like I was dominant. I felt I was stronger than he was, so I knew I could keep him there. And I know a lot of people watching the fight, you can't really tell. They're like, oh, split him up, break him up. Excuse my language, but me and Nick, we were beating the piss out of each other in that clinch, man. knees to the body, uppercuts, foot stomps, man. We was hitting everything. Like my face was all bruised up on this side, I had a swollen eye. Like that was proof that we wasn't. It's not that we weren't doing nothing. Like we was working in the clinch, and that's why I didn't get broken up. So I feel like I had dominant position, and I was landing good shots, and I was able to tie up that leg. I know some people didn't like that I was tying up the leg and not getting a takedown with it. I heard that, which I get, but he's a judo guy. He was trying to sweep me with that leg. So tying up that leg, taking it away from him, he can't sweep me with that. And all his pressure's on one side of his body. He's not going to turn me. He can't sweep me. He's stuck there against the cage, and I knew I had him there. So I was willing to keep it there if it means I was going to win the fight.
At the end of the second round, with about 15 seconds left, you had gotten into full mount. Do you feel like you could have put a stamp on the fight, maybe even got another win inside the distance if there was more time on the clock there for you?
Yeah, I do. I landed some ground and pound, but it was on me. I got a little high up in my up in mount, and he was able to get his feet in front of me and kind of push away. So I feel like if I would have stayed a little hunkered down, a little lower, if I wouldn't have got too excited, I feel like I could have done some more damage, especially with some more time. Same with the third round. You know, I tried to go for that Americana and then switch it off to a head and arm. But by the time I got on the head and arm, I knew there was like 5 or 6 seconds left. I was like, I might as well get back in the mount, land some ground and pound, and, you know, make sure I can seal the round. So I would have liked to get the finish, but dude, look at Nick's fights, man. It's hard to finish that dude. You can't. Nick is tough, and he will fight till the end, and he absolutely did. He gave it everything he had. So he pushed me. It was a fun fight.
I know in the second and third rounds, the clinching along the fence took place mostly in front of your corner. How helpful was being able to hear your coaches in those positions?
It was very helpful. It let me do something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to foot stomp somebody in a fight, never done it. And Coach Johnny's like, dude, it's right there. There's that foot stomp. I was like, oh, dude, it is. I start stomping his foot, but then he stopped mine back, and that hurt a lot. So I didn't really want to do that anymore. I'm not gonna lie, but no, it was nice having them right there. You know, just like I knew what I was doing, but obviously they didn't tell me, so that helped a lot there right in front of them.
Yeah, you mentioned your opponent, Nick the Gremlin Lute. He was as hungry as ever, coming off his own first 3-fight losing streak in his career. What were you expecting from the 15-fight vet?
I was expecting him to just give me everything he had. I mean, I knew going into it, we have very similar styles. We're both shorter, stockier guys, southpaws that like to grapple, and he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. And I've always claimed that my jiu-jitsu is really good, so I wanted to test it. You know, if it got to the ground, I was willing to test it with him. And I feel like I won everything on the ground as well. But I mean, he like I said, in the clinch, he landed some good shots. He was really strong. He was trying to whistle down on my underhook real hard, and felt like we was arm wrestling, dude. He was strong in that clinch, so. And I knew he was going to try to sweep me too. He almost had me with one sweep, dude. I felt my heart race a little bit. I was like, oh, I thought I was about to get dumped, but I mean, I was able to, you know, defend it. So. But no, I knew he was going to give me everything he had, and he definitely did. That was a tough fight, and I'd earned that one. So I was proud of myself.
Being in the cage with a veteran like that who's 16 years older than you, I'm sure that was a valuable experience. So what'd you learn most from those 9 minutes in the cage?
Just take what you're given. You know, don't rush positions, don't rush into submissions, or don't rush to try to get a finish if it's going to get you in a bad position. Like I said, in the clinch, I knew I had him in some spots where I was in dominant position. There was no need to rush anything because like I said, if you slip up, Nick's the guy that's going to find that opening if you slip up. So it just taught me to be patient and take what I'm given and work with what I got, you know, and be more smart and strategical when I'm fighting instead of rushing for finishes all the time.
I mentioned Nick's motivation heading into this fight, but for you, you were looking to respond after your first KO loss and avoid a 2-fight losing streak, which you've never been on. How important was it for you to walk out of the Canton Civic Center that night with a win?
It was very important to me. I think that's kind of why that fight was more of a safer performance for me, because I wanted to win the fight. That fight back in October with Hayden ending the way it did. If I would have won that fight, I probably wouldn't have fought again the rest of the year. But as soon as that fight was done, I was telling my coach, I need something in December. I need something in December. And I talked to you guys a little bit back in October. And I was, dude, I can get on December. I'll talk to him. I knew I could. And I knew Nick would be a fun fight. And I knew once I got that, I was like, I'll do everything I can to win this fight. Like, I needed to end it. I couldn't end the year on a note like that. Like, I had to finish with something good. And I knew I could with that fight. So I was glad I was able to get the fight and it went the way it did. I needed that one. Like I said, I couldn't lose 2 in a row at the end of the year. I can't do that. So.
Were you or your coaches skeptical of the quick turnaround and actually returning in December? Because like you said, if you had won that fight, you would not have fought in December. So was there any skepticism heading into that fight or taking that fight at Cage Thunder 29?
Me and my coaches personally, no. Other people, yes. They didn't. Me being a young kid, they're like, "Oh, he's not going to bounce back from that. That's going to scare him. He's going to be scared to fight again after taking a loss like that." But I knew. It's funny when Nick fought back in August, and he was supposed to fight Dom, and Dom had to pull out, and Tommy stepped in. When they were looking for an opponent, I fought that night at a different show the same night, and I sent the link of that on Facebook to my coach. And was like, "I know I'm supposed to fight that night." I said, "But I think I can make 25 right now." And I said, "I can go down there. And I think I can beat Nick right now." And obviously it didn't materialize in August, but I ended up getting it in December. So I had confidence in my ability to win that fight. And I wasn't scared. I knew the loss that I had in October, I was winning that fight. That fight was like in total, like 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I was winning for 9 seconds of that fight. I was winning the whole thing right up until the end. So it didn't shake my confidence or anything. I still knew what I possessed as a fighter, and I knew I could still win. And all my losses that I've lost, I feel like I'd rematch those guys any day. So.
Yeah, I wasn't even really planning on talking much about that KO loss, but since we are talking about it right now, having that mindset, and again, only 20 years old, that's a very mature reaction to a loss like that, especially as an amateur fighter. I could see how that would destroy other amateur fighters, destroy their ego, their confidence, everything that goes into mixed martial arts. So do you credit that response that you had to anything? Maybe just the people that are around you, or have you always been that way? What's brought you to having that still belief in yourself after that loss?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. Like I have full trust in my coaches and what they do and what they teach me. I know they know what they're talking about, and I've seen the work that they put in on me, and I've seen the work that I've put in myself to be the fighter that I am. And I don't want to say I'm an arrogant person, but I have full belief. I put in the work, and I have the right to be a little cocky in myself because I know what I've done and the work that I put in. And I knew that I could still go out there and do it. Like that wasn't going to scare me. He had a good little he had a good little knee that he caught. Like it was, and I give him all the credit in the world. It was very slick. After it happened and I saw it, I was like, man, that was cool. Like I was like, why'd that have to happen to me? That was dope. But it is what it is. And I knew I could win that fight. I still believe I could win that fight if it happened again. It's just, I like I said, I know what I possess. I know what my coaches possess. And I know that if it comes down to it, I can beat anyone that I need to beat. So.
Talking with Connor Showtime Smith here on Forged in Ohio. Perhaps my favorite part of the Connor Smith experience at Cage Thunder 29 was the post-fight interview. Where did that promo come from, man?
Years and years of watching pro wrestling my entire life, dude. I've been watching it forever. My dad's a pro wrestler, or he was a pro wrestler. He's retired now. Fought or wrestled all around Ohio and states around and stuff. So I love that's why Showtime is the nickname for a reason. I love the show aspect of it. I feel like a lot of fighters don't play that up enough. They don't have enough personality. And I feel like I have it naturally. So I run with it all the time, and I can cut a good promo on the microphone, dude. I'm like, I can get in the cage and I can fight, but I can get on that mic too and talk if I have to. So I love to do that after. That's a lot of people's favorite parts of my fights. So.
Yeah, I was sitting there cage side blown away by what you were saying, and it just continually got better and better and better. When it comes to what you said, was that mostly off the top of your head, or did you prepare some of that ahead of time?
It's a little bit of both. Like I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to say, but not word for word. I just kind of go with what's coming to me. Like I knew I wanted to shout out who I wanted to shout out, answer the questions obviously that they're going to ask me, and then, talk about Roman at the end and stuff. So I kind of had that planned out, but other than that, it's kind of just off the head usually. So.
And I was looking forward to talking about your passion for pro wrestling, because I'm a pro wrestling fan myself too. Can you talk about when you first got into wrestling and what about it appealed to you?
Man, the earliest, I don't even know the earliest that I can remember. Like I said, my dad was watching when he was a kid, and then he wrestled. So I've been watching it since probably I could open my eyes, man, just watching pro wrestling. And watching. I'm a big nerd for it still to this day. Like me and my dad are pumped for the Royal Rumble next weekend to watch that and stuff. So we still keep up with it and watch everything. It's just I love it, man. I love the show. I love the show of it, like the aspect of it and just the performance and everything. I don't know. It really draws me in, and I like to bring that aspect into my fight persona, my fight game. You know, just to bring a more entertaining side. Like even in the UFC, I love those guys that can talk. I love Chael Sonnen and the stuff he says on the mic, dude. Nobody's as witty as Chael Sonnen. You know, the stuff that he talks on the mic. Obviously, McGregor is really good on the mic. Just guys like that could talk are super fun to watch, and that gets people talking, gets people wanting to see you fight. There's more to it than just being a good fighter. You got to promote, you got to talk. There's a whole big package that goes in, and if you can be the total package, you can get really far, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Which wrestlers have influenced you the most or are your favorite to this day?
My all-time favorite, and it really shows my age saying my all-time favorite, it would probably be Rick Gordon would be my favorite of all time. But when it comes to like people that can talk on the microphone, you got to throw The Rock up there. You got to put Ric Flair in there. Cena was really good on the mic. Punk's really good on the mic. Even New Day or like new generation stuff like MJF is good on the mic. The Miz, all them guys, you know, all them guys that can talk on the mic. I love guys that can cut a promo. I love heels. I love being the heel. And part of me kind of hoped that like the crowd at Cage Thunder was gonna hate me and I could like play the heel character, but they're very respectful, so I didn't get to. But I was ready if I had to. I was ready.
Have you ever thought of a career as a pro wrestler, maybe combined with what you're doing in MMA, or are you just all in on mixed martial arts?
I thought about it. I'm not a big dude, you know, so it's kind of, I don't know. I've been slightly involved in stuff that my dad's done every now and then, just being his son and stuff. But I love being involved as much as I can, even with local shows. If I'm just there watching or if I'm doing commentary or something over the show, just being involved in stuff any ways that I can it's really fun. Like I said, I just enjoy entertaining people. That's what I love to do. So.
Yeah, on that note, your Instagram bio says that you were born to entertain, which I absolutely love. Why do you feel that way though, that you were put on this earth just to entertain others?
I've always felt that just growing up. I love making people laugh, or I hate to say it out loud because it sounds so like egotistical. I like when people want to see me and talk about me. I like that. And I hate the way it sounds out loud, but it's what it is. I mean, I like it. I like people wanting to talk about me, wanting to see me, asking me questions, you know, stuff like that. I've always thought that was cool, like almost being the center of attention at times. I've always liked that, and I feel like that's why I'm born to entertain people, whether it comes to fighting and my fight skills, or talking on the microphone, or doing interviews like this, or doing commentary on fight shows. Just I've always been told that I've excelled in all those aspects of stuff, so I feel like the proof's right there. I was born to do this. So
what's crazy about your career is that you're 8 fights in, you're only 20 years old, and you're not afraid of anything at your age too. Growing up, did you always imagine that you would get your start in combat sports this young?
no, dude, I wouldn't even thought I would have done combat sports when I was a kid. Like, dude, I thought I was gonna be a pro wrestler, 100%. Like, I thought I was gonna be a pro wrestler. And then in high school, I played football, and I loved football. But you've seen how big I am. I ain't going nowhere in football. I was like, I got to find something else to do. And I was a fan of MMA. And the way I figured out about the UFC was when Brock Lesnar came back in 2012 against John Cena, and they had their feud. And I remember asking my dad, like, well, where was Brock Lesnar at? He's like, oh, he's in the UFC. And I was like, well, what's the UFC? And that's how I'd seen the UFC. And I kind of watched it ever since. Then McGregor showed up, pulled more people in. And now, dude, I watch it. I watch everything from early prelims to main events of pay-per-views of fight nights or whatever. I make my predictions. My TikTok page is me. I predict fights and stuff all the time on there. I'll do my own matchmaking and stuff. Just fun stuff that I've always done, just in general for my own entertainment. Now I put it on the internet just for fun. So it's always been something that I've enjoyed.
So when you first discovered UFC and just MMA in general, when were you actually, I guess not hooked, but when did you realize that this was something that you wanted to do?
Probably like my sophomore year of high school was my last year of football, and I didn't love playing football anymore. I still enjoy watching it. I love football, but it was I knew I still wanted to compete in something, and I didn't wrestle. A lot of people think I wrestled in high school. I didn't wrestle. I'm not a wrestler. So I didn't wrestle, but I was a fan of MMA, and I've always thought, like, man, it'd be cool to do that. And then I was like, why not just do it then? If it's going to be cool to do it, like, why just say that, actually do it. So it started, I paid a guy $20 to come train me in my living room every day is how it started. I was hitting mitts and rolling around on the carpet, getting carpet burn and stuff, learning how to do it, bouncing around a little bit. And then I ended up at Smile back here in Piqua, and rest is history from there. Now I'm talking to you. So it seemed to work out pretty well then.
Yes, sir, man. It certainly has. And I think you made your amateur debut at what, like 18 years old? From that point on to now, did you just know that this was for you, and damn it, you like it so much, you just kept on doing it, and now we're at 8 fights?
Yeah, like I was 18 for that fight. I don't know. I literally fought that Saturday, went back to school that Monday. I was still in high school, and then a lot of my buddies came out to watch me fight, and a lot of people made fun of me in high school because they're like, really, dude, you're a wannabe fighter. You're not gonna be anything with that. But now, like, just winning for Cage Thunder, I get the messages from those same people. Oh, congratulations, this and that. I was like, yeah, I know how it goes. Like, it is what it is. But no, like I after that fight, I was curious to see how I would handle it. And like walking out, dude, I got like tunnel vision. It was crazy. It was like a movie scene. It felt like as soon as I get in the cage, I start, pumping up the crowd or whatever. I was like, dude, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. And I ended up losing that fight split decision. And I remember in between rounds 1 and 2, I get to the corner, my first round ever. Coach Donnie looks at me and goes, "You having fun?" I was like, dude, I'm having a blast. So, like, this is so much fun. And ever since then, I was like, dude, I want to fight again. I want to fight again. Like, even right now, I'm trying to take some time back to myself and not fight. But there's shows that pop up. I'm like, oh, do they need a 25er? Like, I keep looking. I'm like, dude, I need to chill out a little bit because I got some stuff I need to heal up. I'm beat up. I need to heal up a little bit, but it's hard not to, dude. I love it. I just want to fight all the time. So.
There's nothing wrong with older fighters competing as amateurs, but sometimes that can limit their ceiling in the sport just given their age. So how valuable is it that you're 20 years old, already have the experience you do, and have really shown no signs of stopping?
I think it's great. I'm glad I got into it when I did. That's what I always tell people. Like, if you want to do it, go for it, and be a sponge, soak everything up that you can, because there's so much to learn in MMA, because it's so many martial arts, but it's all the martial arts put together. Like, so there's so much to learn in each thing. Just be present at practices as much as you can, learn as much as you can, soak it all in, and just take full advantage of it, because that's what I did. And now, like you said, I'm 8 fights in. I'm one of the top ranked guys in the state. I just got my blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, I'm learning a lot at 20, and I'm glad I'm only 20. Like, I don't have to keep going at this pace because I got time. So it's the ball's in my court. I can do what I want with it at this point, and I really enjoy that freedom.
Yeah, you fought 4 times in 2024. Is that the pace that you're trying to keep up in 2025?
That was a little more fights than I thought I was gonna have. I thought I was gonna have like 3 maybe, but I don't know. Like, at this point, I have nothing scheduled until June. I know I'm fighting in June, but other than that, it's just a matter of, do I do something before that? I don't know. I know I'll probably have some stuff after. So I'm thinking I might fight like 3 times this year maybe. So anywhere around there is pretty good. And then, we'll go pro eventually. A lot of guys rush going pro. I'm not trying to rush it. I'm not where I want to be yet to be a pro fighter, but it'll happen eventually, probably sometime next year. So I like the pace that I got, but I wouldn't be too mad if it settles down a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. At this pace that you're on, maybe you slow down just a little bit, but how much amateur experience are you hoping to have before making what eventually will be a highly anticipated pro debut down the road?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get a couple titles to my name before I leave, collect some amateur belts, and then, then go pro. There's still some parts of my game that I want to tighten up a little bit, get more comfortable with before. Because, once you're pro, like, nothing resets. Like, that's like, you're an amateur. Yeah, I'm fighting all these guys as an amateur because it's experience. Like, there's so many guys I was not ready to fight. Like, my first fight, I wasn't ready to fight that dude. My third fight, that dude was like, I think he was like a state wrestler. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't even wrestle in high school. Like, I wasn't ready for that, but I just wanted to fight, and it's experience. So, like, if I would have took, like, easier fights, yeah, I'm sure my record would look better, but, like, what am I going to get out of that? So I want to get all the experience now, learn what I can now. So when I'm a pro, it doesn't matter who I fight. I don't have to cherry pick nothing when I'm a pro. I'm just ready to fight anybody. That's kind of the plan. So.
Yeah, that's really smart. So that's the long-term outlook for your career. But what about the short term? You said what, June? And is that when fans can expect to see you back in the cage?
June for sure. Yes, it's just a matter of can I wait that long? Can I wait? Because I've been doing I've taken like a step back, like I said, just to kind of heal up and stuff, and I've taken other like behind the scenes what I want to say responsibilities at the gym with other things, like I'm coaching some classes and a lot of other stuff going on just behind the scenes stuff, which is really fun to do, that I'm kind of focusing on right now, keeping that going. And then when it's time, once I'm not as beat up, once it's time to get ready to fight again, make the cut back down to 25 and put on another show for everybody. So June for sure. We'll see how long I can hold off. There might be something sooner, but nothing's guaranteed. But June, yes, I'll be there. I'll be back in June for sure.
I have to mention the call out and the promo you cut at Cage Thunder 29 as you mentioned Roman Parabek's name. He's fighting here soon, but do you think that's a fight that could come to fruition maybe in June?
I do. I think it can happen. I'll be at that show when Roman fights, so he better repay the favor and call me out too, dude. We'll get some. Maybe they'll let me in the cage. I'll have a cool like little face off like DC and Brock Lesnar did. That'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. It's nothing personal. He's one of the top guys at flyweight in Ohio. Might as well fight the top guy at flyweight. I think he's up there. I couldn't tell you where he is in the rankings right now, but he should be number one, I'd assume. So I mean, I'd love to test myself against Roman. He's a good wrestler. He's a tough dude. He hits hard. He's taller than me. He's longer than me. He should have all the advantages in a matchup. So I'd love to test myself and really see how I stack up with the top flyweights in Ohio.
Once again, this is Connor Showtime Smith here on Forged in Ohio. 4 of your 5 wins have come via submission, including some pretty technical ones. What's been the key to all these submissions that you've been able to get?
It's my coaching, man. I got great coaches when it comes to the jiu-jitsu side. Coach Johnny, he taught me the basics and he's my base game of jiu-jitsu, and now I've really expanded it with the Sauce team and Eddie Morrow and all them guys have taught me some other cool little tricks. A lot of it was learning on the go as well. Like I'm in the gym, I'm learning basic stuff, and then I got a live roll with Chelsea, and I gotta stay alive out there. So I'm throwing up crazy stuff that just to stay alive. I'm like, oh, this seems like it would hurt, and then I try it, and then it ends up I find all this cool stuff to pull off. So and I do it so naturally in the gym that when it comes to fight time, I'm like, oh, I know how to do that, and I'll do some cool stuff, and the crowd will pop for it, and it's fun stuff like that. So I like getting. Obviously, everybody loves a finish, and I'm a grappler, I guess, with the submissions or whatever. So it'd be cool to get a cool submission. Everybody sees rear naked chokes. Everybody sees guillotines and all that stuff. So to get, a key lock with my legs and to get an inverted mounted triangle really gets the crowd going. So I love that I can do that for people.
We talked about your corner earlier, the coaches, Chelsea, Johnny Connor. What have they, along with Fightopia and Smileback Training Center, what have all those groups around you, what have they meant to you?
Oh, dude, they mean the world to me. I have no idea where my life would be right now if I never started training at the gym with them. Like, I talk to those people every day. Like, all those people, they become my best friends. They're like my family. Like, that's my life, is that I'm at the gym with them or I'm hanging out with them. So I have no idea where I would be right now if it wasn't for those guys. So I give all the credit in the world to them. They've made me the fighter that I am today. So all the respect and everything goes to my teammates and my corners. Like, they're the best. I can't thank them enough for everything they've done for me. So I really love those guys.
I know you were recently announced as the instructor of a kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class as well at Smileback Training Center. How excited are you for this new opportunity?
I'm really excited. I enjoy coaching more than I thought I would. When I first started, I didn't think I'd be the type to coach, but the more I progressed and advanced in jiu-jitsu and stuff, I could tell that I could show some cool stuff. Like, I could teach some good things with kids. I mean, I'm just going to be teaching them the basics for a while, just learning how to fall and shrimping and all this basic stuff. And then I'll get them into the basic submissions. And then the longer we go, I can start teaching them some cool submissions, my personal submissions that I do. And I'm just excited to see what I can build with these kids and see what kind of monsters I can make. I'm excited for it.
How deep is your personal bag of tricks when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and submissions that you got?
I like to say it's pretty deep. Like I've done, I know a lot, but I've done stuff and people like, what was that, dude? I honestly don't know. Like, but it works. Like, it's literally, I don't think it's thinking of it. It's not that deep to think of it, dude. If something seems like it's gonna hurt, see if it hurts and see if they tap. There's a submission. Like there's a lot of technique to jujitsu, but at the same time, it's your word. It's like it's your art, dude. It's your canvas. You know, do what you want with it. And I take full advantage of that, using my flexibility and all kinds of crazy stuff just to get some cool submissions and make people smile. I mean, it's fun. I love doing it like that.
I'm pretty sure the start date to this class that you're running is the same day that this episode is going to come out. So what's your sales pitch, I guess, for why adults should bring their kids in for a class with you?
I think look at my highlight tape. Look at the cool submissions I can get your kids in some sweet stuff like that. Getting some inverted triangles and some cool key locks and spinning around, taking the back, getting some deeper naked chokes off of some cool takedowns. Like, I mean, I know so much. Like I said, my bag is deep when it comes to jiu-jitsu. My coaches have made my bag so deep with jiu-jitsu. Like, I can teach kids so much stuff, and I can make them unstoppable when it comes, especially at their age group. Oh yeah, we'll make some monsters at the gym, and I'm excited for it. So if you want your kids to turn into some jiu-jitsu freaks, man, I can really get that going for them.
I love to hear it, man. Before we wrap up, Connor, I just want to give you the opportunity to shout out or mention anything you want to here on Forged in Ohio, man.
Oh, of course. Always shout out my teammates and coaches, everything at Smile back here in Piqua. Like I said, they make me who I am. Those are my best friends. That's my family. You know, those are my people. Obviously, shout out all my family, friends, and fans that always support me, whether it's buying pay-per-views, buying tickets, even just messaging me or commenting on my posts. Like, all that stuff means the world to me. And then shout out my sponsors, the Gentleman's Chair and the Redneck Party Bus. And then shout out you, Jake, for having me on the show. I've been excited. Like I said, I've been waiting on the call. I knew it was coming. I was like, dude, I just saw it for Cage Thunder. I'm going to get the message soon. I know it's coming. And I got out of practice the other day and saw it. So I appreciate you, man, for letting me come on here and run my mouth. I love to talk a lot. So this gives me a platform to do it on, and I appreciate that. So thank you, man. You're the man.
Of course, man. It's an honor to have you on the show, and I thank you for coming on here and giving me the time. It's been fun to follow your amateur career to this point, and I feel like it's only going to get better and better. If you didn't already know, I like to end these chats by doing the OHIO chant. So, OH.
IO.
Thanks, Connor. I appreciate the time. Congrats on the win at Cage Thunder 29, and we'll talk again soon, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
That was Connor Showtime Smith, the 5-3 amateur mixed martial artist. I asked Connor why he was born to entertain. He answered that question well, and he entertained throughout this entire episode. I thoroughly enjoyed talking with Connor on here, and I knew this episode was going to be worth your time. If you did enjoy it, make sure you show Connor some love. All his social media channels are linked in the description of the episode, and so are Forged in Ohio's social media channels, including Instagram, Facebook, and now X. So we're adding another social media site, and as mentioned before, you can find the link to shop the Forged in Ohio merch store on all three of them. And don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like these videos, and while you're at it, share with friends as well. Thank you all for watching or tuning in. I've been your host, Jake Murren, and this was Forged in Ohio.